Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
This is going to be the most epic college basketball preview show. As you know, we're doing 31 conferences, each one individually. Got a couple coaches on each. Thank God there's no more Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-8, Pac-2, because now we only have 31. This has to be the most energized I've ever been pre-show with these two guys. I thought there was going to be a fight. Luckily, we're doing it remotely. We've got, let's see, who do we got? We got Drexel Dragons coach Spiker, and we got his compatriot, compadre, colleague, competitor, talking smack from Towson State, Coach Pat Skerry. Welcome to the Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball season for our CAA preview show with LT and Sammy D. So that's all I'm going to say because I feel like you guys are going to just talk.
Hey, I'm excited. I think Pat and I are both excited to be here. I refrained. I was going to text him like, hey, what are we going to talk about? But I know he never is at a lack of words. Let me just correct it. I do want to be fair. It is Towson, not Towson. Okay.
I'm Canadian, Coach. I'm Canadian. I ain't from the East Coast,
he gets
baby.
his O's mixed up all the time.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Zach.
I'll just say it didn't sound a boot right. How about that?
You know, Canadians are friendly until provoked. You should recruit some Canadians.
Yeah.
We did. Matej Juric, he scored the last bucket when we went to NCAA tournament on a backdoor cut. We call it the Juric cut now. Since then, Coach Skerry did not like Matej Juric in the lineup.
No.
He was a Canadian. He was a Canadian, huh? All right. That's great. Yeah, we love Canadians. I've been up there 3 times. I've taken my team to Canada 3 times. Great country.
Did you ever lose?
No.
Yeah.
You don't take an American basketball team up to Canada and lose.
Well,
No.
Did you ever play Dave Smart's team when you were up there, Coach?
We did. We did beat Carleton once. We actually split with Carleton.
So
I
then
don't like
when did
coaching. I don't
Hang
coach
on, time
the
out.
games
Where
in
did
the
you lose to
summer.
him? Did you play him in the States? Because you said you went up there and never lost, and you split with him. I'm confused now.
I don't coach
I am
the
too,
games in
Towson
Canada.
State.
I don't coach the games in Canada. I sit in the stands. I need to decompress and evaluate everything, Zach. You know what I mean?
Were you
We're
eating
not-
some poutine?
Yeah, this is a liberal arts college here at Towson. I know you guys are a little bit more into math and science over there, Drexel. So we like to holistically kind of evaluate everything here.
We're about the science. You're about the art, clearly.
Oh,
there you
my
go.
God.
Compliment each other.
Oh,
So
my
we're
God.
I think we're going to dig into some basketball here.
So we've
I
got.
want to hear.
Go
Yeah. Go ahead, LT.
No. So we got 14 teams in conference. Charleston Cougars won it last year. Pat Kelsey is no longer. You guys ran him out of town, and you welcome in Chris Mack. Drexel, you guys finished second. Hofstra, UNCW, and then we got your team up there, Coach Skerry, at 5th. So tell me a little bit about the conference. What are you guys expecting this year? A little bit of the history of the conference, too, what you guys like about it. Obviously, it seems like it's another great coaches league. You guys get on with each other, though you're competitors. And unfortunately, with mid-major basketball, you're fighting for one spot, and it really comes down to 3 or 4 days in March. But just give a little background on the conference, kind of like what you guys feel about it.
Yeah, I'll talk about the teams coming in this year and what we're talking about the coaches. Pat's a little bit older and been around the league longer. You can see the gray hair, so I'll let him talk about the history of the league. Slight jab, right? But I think what makes this league special is it's not just the size of the league, but the variety of styles of play and the different coaches and their experiences. You talk about Geno Ford and his path. You look about King Rice and his playing career and what he's done at Monmouth in different leagues in different ways, right? And then Chris Mack coming in from time at Louisville and time at Xavier. You've got a lot of really accomplished coaches, and that doesn't really even go to talk about the style of play. You play Campbell, you better be locked in, or you're going to give up about 8 backdoor layups and want to know what's going on and how you get out of Bowie's Creek with a win, and it doesn't happen, right? So I think there are so many different styles of play and some really, really good coaching. What ends up happening is the league kind of, we kind of, not I want to say even out, but we go after each other a little bit, and it's really, really tough. I think the way to cut the corner on the league is to get the highest IQ players you can that can absorb, hey, we know we're going to deal with some switching action here. We're going to deal with zone action here. They're going to switch 1 through 4. They're going to switch 1 through 5 late in the clock. They're going to do different things. Style of play, you better get back in transition. Are you worried about your matchup? So there's just such variety, and then there's great skill. And think about this. In the conferences, you just say 30 instead of 31. So Coach Skerry and I are going to eat up that additional time, so everyone else gets the same time when you talk to them, okay? But we are top 4 conference in the nation in three-point shooting percentage. All right? Top 5 conference in the nation in turnover percentage. We take care of the ball. We take a lot of threes and make a lot. That leads to a style of you better be ready to go, or you're going to be in trouble. So I think it's a very well-coached and a well-executed league, and it's a credit to the coaches and the staffs in the recruiting process to get players that fit everybody's system. Super long answer.
Yeah, and I think also, too, Coach, it seems like your whole league is just filled with Jack Golkes from Oakland. Everybody just shoots threes. He wasn't allowed to go inside the three-point line. You said three-pointers. You guys obviously chuck up a lot of threes in your league.
Well, that's certainly a strategy for some, right?
Coach, you still alive up there?
Yeah, no, this is one of those true mid-major conferences. I think, unfortunately, a lot of us like to say kind of outside the whatever Power 6 conferences that we like to throw around the term mid-major. I like, there's a lot of schools here in Baltimore, and I'm rooting for all of them, but I like to remind people that it's a little different when Drexel comes into play versus maybe some of the other teams at times. This is not that there aren't teams in other leagues that are really good at the top, but the depth of our league is really good. I think there were 6 teams in the top 150 last year in the net, or 160 in the net. And I certainly think the bottom of the league is going to improve. I'll be honest with you, I don't love that we have 14 teams. Who knows how many more we'll have in a couple years. When Zach first got in the league, and I've been here a little bit longer, when we had 10 teams, it was awesome because it was a true round robin. Unfortunately, these days, seems like leagues keep getting bigger and bigger. So you're always going to deal with an unbalanced schedule. But I do think, especially for the teams at the top of the league, it is really hard to get a second team. But I don't think a lot of us are scheduling like that, and certainly not last year, but 2 years ago, Charleston was worthy of an at-large bid. So, the better the bottom of the league is and the more aggressive everyone's schedules, those things aren't necessarily out of the realm of possibility. I think there's a lot of good college basketball from Philly to Maryland. I think both of us on this call would say we would play anybody from any league really at any time. So, we welcome those opportunities. We're 7-2 in our last 9, I believe, against the Atlantic 10, which is a very good league. So we love the opportunity to compete against those type of teams because there's a lot of good ones in our conference.
Well, and it's also crazy, too, if you look at your standings last year, and I know things have changed with the transfer portal and NIL, the top 8 teams all had winning records in conference and winning records out of conference, too. I mean, I don't know many colleges, any schools, or any conferences that have that same kind of pedigree. So,
yeah, I don't know that either. That would be interesting to look at. I know there's going to be about a half dozen teams that are going to be very difficult to play against this year.
Yeah,
right.
Even looking at the conference championship last year, you have Charleston in the finals, and then you have Stony Brook, right? And it went into overtime. So just a matter of minutes for that 8th seeded team to knock off the top seeded team in conference just shows how deep that is. I do want to go back to
I appreciate you bringing that up since we played Stony Brook in the first round, lost in double overtime. So thank you for rehashing that. Thank you.
I mean,
Coach,
it was.
this is not a therapy session, Coach.
Oh,
We've already had
I'm
those.
in the wrong chat.
Believe me,
Yeah,
we've had those
Wrong chat. I
interviews.
gotta go. See ya.
Yeah. No, I remember the conference tournament though, because LT and I were like texting back and forth, and we're like, "Hey, are you watching what's going on at the CAA?" Like each round, it was something special going on, and it was really eye-opening to the entire country. Just how deep the conference is. I do want to go back to the comment about scheduling non-conference. You know, is that how difficult is that in today's game, and how are you guys kind of playing? What does your guys' non-conference schedule look like this fall?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, I'm not going to judge everyone's schedule. Some people want home games, or maybe they need to get bought, or they're going to play a bunch of non-division ones. Everyone's got a different philosophy. I just know that it's, for I think the teams that have been consistently pretty good in our league the last few years, the Drexels, the Charlestons, the Wilmingtons, the Hofsches, the Delaware, the Towsons. It's been challenging to get games. So you end up, I think at our level, what happens a lot, like I'm just going to give you, like we have a couple of teams on our schedule, right? Without a lot of name appeal, UC Irvine and Kent State and Bryant, like those teams can play,
Kent State, I'm in Akron, and Kent State's a ball team.
Yeah, and Zach's played some tough games. At our level, there's so many 50-50 games, and you're dying for home games, but they're really hard to get.
Yeah, I agree with that. I echo that sentiment. I would even say Sammy, you were talking about conference tournament and what it's like. I mean, those quarterfinal rounds don't feel like quarterfinal rounds. I mean, Takeo Sito and I were texting just after, both of our seasons had ended and saying, are you kidding me? Wilmington, Towson, and a lot of leagues, that's a championship game.
Yep.
In a lot of leagues, those two teams, that's a championship game. Our game was knocked down, drag out. We had the defensive player of the year go down the first half with an injury and still go to double overtime. It was a knockdown, drag out game that had a lot of sting after the fact for sure, emotionally. But I think when you look at scheduling, our teams, Towson, Drexel, the two coach on this call, and I think a large number of teams in our league are in this really unique spot because Iowa State's the one everybody wants to talk about, right? Those teams would rather spend money and play 341 to 351 and win by 30 and control their efficiency dials in KenPom. So because KenPom truly is part of the net formula, right? So when it comes to that Selection Sunday, they're a little bit more attractive because their offensive efficiency number is here and their defensive efficiency number is low, and that may be more appealing instead of what's better for their team. And Iowa State's a terrific team. Doesn't matter who they play. They're really good, right? But we've had trouble scheduling some Big 12 teams who said, no, we're not playing you. Why would we do that when we've got a budget where we can buy someone and win by 30 and control those things? Instead, let's say we could lose the game, right? I mean, we've beaten some teams. Certainly, I was at Army. We beat USC. We beat Nova last year. We've had some quality non-conference wins. They see that and they say, well, why would we play you? You could win, and if you don't, we only win by 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, and it's a dogfight. They may learn a little bit about their guys, but in their mind, that doesn't look as good in the scoreboard and the style of play or efficiency world. It's a problem. So we're kind of in this category where we're too talented or too threatening, maybe. A lot of our teams, right, in this league will give people trouble. Monmouth wins at West Virginia. Wilmington wins at Kentucky. Our league wins non-conference games, period.
Yeah, Delaware won at Xavier. You guys beat Villanova. It's my last AD used to say the game is rigged. They get rid of the RPI and it's just it makes it hard to get games. So you end up with a lot of tough 50-50s. Now those do get you ready for conference play.
But the problem is, Coach, and sorry to cut you off, you're beating the shit out of each other, and that's the problem. It doesn't, you're seeing all these MTEs pop up, and there's some great MTE tournaments with mid majors, but you're beating the crap out of each other in the back end. And I mean, here's the thing: if they expand the NCAA tournament, that's not going to help your conference.
I don't think expanding the tournament is for the betterment of the non-power leagues, right?
Yeah, we agree.
We want to
We
be
agree.
more inclusive and say all those things. Even potentially the unit share is going to go down, right?
Mhm.
If there's some math involved there, that we're getting less money when you go. So I can't delve too much into that, but there is concern that expand it. Will it truly mean, hey, that'd be great if they said, hey, the regular season champion, and if it's a different conference tournament champion, the CAA is getting 2 teams in.
Yeah, but
How
I mean,
great of a tournament would that be?
right, but I
there's
think
no way that's anybody's
but
top priority.
but the thing is, you could do that, right? There's some leagues like yourself, Missouri Valley, like yourself, American Athletic. I mean, that's more high major, but you could make it work. Or maybe like the MAC, if you're the 24th best conference, you don't get 2 bids. Maybe if you're within the top 16, you have 2 bids. Because here's the thing, you guys are playing this really tough conference schedule: 15-3, 13-5, 12-6. There's really no benefit. I mean, the way it works, Hampton could win the conference tournament, go to the NCAA tournament, be 9-24 potentially.
Well, now it's gotten even harder to get in the NIT, because of what they've done. So it's hard. I mean, it's hey, look, it's what you sign up for. Ultimately we're paid and we're judged on winning whatever 3-4 games in March. You've got to be fortunate to work for good people that really understand what it takes to be competitive and give yourself a chance every year. And that's if you I have a fortunate situation, as does Zach, with that, where they understand that you got to hope for that.
Yeah, well, you got windows too, Coach, so you have a really fortunate situation.
Well, let's hope nobody flies into the window or through the window, because that would never be good, right? Oh, we'd have a viral moment. I'd like that, Zach. Wouldn't that be nice? A viral moment.
Yeah, no, the non-conference question, it's like we're interviewing a lot of coaches, and it just seems like all the power schools are avoiding schools like in that kind of 75 through 175 net ranking, right?
Yeah, 275 and below. That's what they want to schedule. They've got more league games. They've gone from 18 to 20, so that's less opportunities. They're going to play 3 or 4 against their MTE, or there's like a Big Ten, whatever, Big East challenge, whatever it is, challenge. And then it's 275 below, and they can open up the piggy bank and pay what they need. So it's not their fault. They're working the parameters that they were given. I had a team that was picked first like a few years ago, and we went to Kansas. You want to talk about leading the lambs to the slaughter. But we went to Kansas, and they were number 1 in the country, and their scheduling guy said, "This is awesome. We have 5 teams coming in here that are picked to win their league." So back then, that stuff mattered. Hey, Drexel's going to be really good. They had everyone back. Let's schedule them. Now there's not a lot of benefit, like Zach said. If they find out about their team, but if they win by 5 points, not so good.
Yeah. So let's talk about your individual teams now. Drexel, Moore and Williams are gone. A couple guys I really want to see take that next step: McGee, Butler, and Turner. How does that team look, Coach Spiker?
You missed a couple other guys: Moore, Williams, Jamie Bergens, and Lamar Odin, and Lucas Monroe, Mate Okris, and Luke House. I'll stop there. But, I mean, that's over 75% of our scoring, 80% of our rebounding, and I think 85% of our assists. Other than that, we got everybody back.
Sounds like a sandbagger to me right there.
But LT, I'm with you. I am excited. Kobe McGee, Yame Butler, Garfield Turner. I'm excited for those guys to take a step. Shane Blakeney's been around our program. Cole Hargrove been around our program. Horace Simmons, redshirter last year. I think we've got some guys, even though those 6 guys that returned, I think they've got a little more experience than maybe just 6 new guys. Now we are adding 7 new players, and that has been a challenge to just get on the same page in terms of terminology. We like to say a lot around, hey, do we all speak dragon? Do we understand what we're about and what we're doing? So we're doing different things. We're still, by the way, 12 days away from our first day of class. So I know Pat, when he went to Tufts, he wasn't going to class before this day anyway. He was skipping early, but
I wish we had online.
Are you guys like, is Drexel like University of Phoenix?
Whoa. No. Drexel. We operate on the quarter system. We're strong engineering, math science program, great communications. The LeBeau School of Business is elite, but we just operate on 10-week schedules.
Yeah.
So you start end of September and you go till first week in December. Then you start 1st of January and go, through January, February, a little bit of March, then a spring break, and we pick back up and go till middle of June. So that's our system, and that's how we have to manage things. But when it filters down into a basketball coach's mind, if we're not careful, we got a really short preseason.
Yep.
Right? Short preseason, long postseason. So we got to make sure we're doing some things. Our guys are here now. We're getting some work in, but that's something that I think is different than everybody else. And our guys know that, and they have to be about to work on their own a little bit. But very excited. Garfield Turner, I don't know if there's been a better example and more joy watching someone grow during his time here. We've had success. He and Yame Butler, both 3-year junior college players. And we've got a number of other guys, like you said, Kobe McGee, really excited for him. And Yame, Yame and Shane, those are guys we're going to lean on. One, their experience. Two, they can put the ball in the basket. And then so it'll be a little bit different. There are some unknowns, but some of those other 7 as well have looked pretty good this summer. And, sometimes the new guys beat the old guys, and it gets you excited. But most importantly, I think we got a group of guys that enjoy being around each other. So I think that'll lead to some success, hopefully.
Yeah. And Coach Skerry, you've got, since you finished 5th, not 2nd in conference, you've only got 4 seconds to talk about your Tigers.
He's got everybody back. Let him talk.
I know.
He should have the floor.
I know. Yeah. He's got a nice Christian May. I mean, Radir Hicks. I mean, he only played 5 games. I'm expecting big things from him. Messiah Jones from Chicago, Simeon High School. I really want him to bring it this year. Tell me a little bit about the Tigers.
Yeah, good group of guys. I mean, we expect to be in the mix. I've said this to friends in a bit. I'm appreciative of all the guys coming back. As I reminded our players, I'm appreciative. All that coming back means is that we're back. They don't give you anything for coming back. So hopefully we're progressing. A great high school coach told me last week, some people say older is better. I think the right response is better is better. We've got to be making some progress. We got to be making some progress. We could have a really good team. We're going to get tested. I've also been where Zach is. Last year we were coming off a best 2-year stretch in school history, and we had to replace 75% of our roster and had a very, very difficult schedule. And I don't think people thought we were going to be very good. And we ended up being really good. And if we didn't fumble in the last 20 seconds against Charleston, had a good chance to go to the NCAA tournament. So it's about what guys do and how they get better. I think for us, the big thing is consistency. We've got a lot of depth, a lot of guys that can play, but to get where we want to get, I think there's got to be some consistent separation. And when this finishes up, we're going on to the practice court. And I can tell you right now, we have not consistently separated. I can't tell you who's going to play, how much they're going to play. Those guys are going to determine that. But I like at the end of the day, I expect us to kind of be in the mix. But I've got great respect, guys, for a lot of the teams in our league. We'll be in the mix, but there's a lot of teams that can win this thing. I know how these go, and I hope. Conversely, if someone said, "How's Towson going to be?" they'd say, "Yeah, it's going to be a bear to play. It's going to be a bear to play against them." But there's a lot of parity in this league.
As he does the drink, and it's funny. Oh God, it's funny.
Coach, that's one of his play calls. That's one of his play calls. You got to guard that one.
Oh God, no, but it's funny because this league last year was known for scores. I mean, Hofstra's Tyler Thomas, Chazarian White from UNC Wilmington. You had Xander Rice from Monmouth. You got Landon Gasper back from NCAA. how does this conference look? I mean, we talked about your two teams. Tell us a little bit about like Hofstra, Charleston. You know, who are some of the teams you're kind of a little bit nervous about this year?
Well, look, I would say right off the bat, I mean, Charleston and Wilmington will both be very good. They're extremely well coached. There's unbelievable tradition at those places. You could put Hofstra in that too. I mean, those are schools that, you know, I think are incredibly committed in men's basketball with outstanding coaches. I'd also say I would expect a couple new coaches to really elevate their teams, like A&T and Hampton. You know, those guys are know what they're doing. And then I'll give you two sleeper type of teams. Okay. William and Mary has a ton of guys back, a ton of good players back. They were really injury ridden last year, and Coach Earl's a good coach. And then, you know, to me, Northeastern will be good. Northeastern has the winningest coach in CAA history, and a lot of guys back. So you know, right there, that's a pretty good starting point.
Yeah, Reggie Lewis.
Well, Billy Cohn's the winningest player, but yeah, Reggie was a great player. Obviously, at Northeastern.
I remember him. Yeah, at Northeastern. Coach,
I think a couple of the teams also to mention right there. Monmouth probably has the best shot blocker returning in the league, and Stony Brook. They shot a lot of threes. They've had a junior college player. Jared Fry was a great shooter. His brother's there. I think they've added even more 3-point weaponry to their arsenal. And, you know, I go back to the other thing too, is there's so many different styles of play. You cannot just say, hey, we're going to do what we do. And Pat, I don't know if you agree with this too. Sometimes I hear guys at higher levels say, we're going to guard ball screen this way all season. And it's like, if you did that, and when I had a chance to be at Army, if you guarded ball screen the same way for 4 straight games, you'd lose 3 of them, right? Like, there's got to be variety to succeed in coaching, and I think that this league presents so many different styles of play. You got to have players that have IQ and the ability to play different ways and do different things. Otherwise, it's really tough to find your way. Coach Skerry, would you agree with that?
I like to always agree with any profound things that come out of your mouth, Coach Spiker, which, you know.
Who said that was profound? That wasn't profound.
I like to agree with that.
Hey, when you guys see him, listen, when you see him wearing that gold jacket and making his play call, get ready. Something's coming.
I would like you guys to know that I know there's a couple new coaches. I'm really the only coach in the league that dresses very well.
The longest.
You know, yeah, a lot of the guys on here, they're really good coaches. They're good people. They're poor dressers, if you ask me.
You're still putting on the sport coat and the suit.
Yeah, the fashion piece is not great for some of these guys. And
he's on the Dan D'Antoni plan. Just because you wear a sport coat doesn't mean you're a good dresser with a T-shirt underneath it.
Oh my God, Sam! I think this is the time to let's get a little bit more intimate with the conference. So, you want to set me up, Sam?
He's going to fire off like 5 or 6 questions. You guys can just we want answers from both of you, but whoever's got the first answer, just fire away. Let's get it, LT.
Yep. All right. One word to describe your conference.
Variety.
Physical.
Ooh, physical variety. I like it. Toughest place to play in your conference.
UNCW. I love you guys like Trask. I love you guys.
Hey, I will say this. I've had a chance to play as a coach, as an assistant at Duke, and be a head coach at Duke at different times in a non-conference schedule for Duke. Obviously, Trask was louder last 2 times we played there than Duke was.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Does anybody throw anything at any of these arenas in your conference?
I haven't been hit yet, but yeah.
Well, no, they
just have bad aim.
Well, Wilmington's a little bit aggressive, but I'm sure they mean that it's in a good-natured way.
Okay. Best conference official.
They're all
Go ahead, Pat.
In my opinion. They're all tremendous in my opinion.
You're full of shit, Coach.
John Cahill and Sean Murphy and Joe D'Antoni, the leadership and the way they put our officials together couldn't be any better.
Best official, bar none, in our league. I won't debate it. I'll hear nothing about it. Clarence Armstrong, former Drexel point guard.
Drexel alum. That's right.
Does he do a lot of your games, Coach Spiker? Is that what you're saying?
He's not allowed to. I wish he could.
He's very good on TikTok right now as well. Very good.
Oh, all right.
We might have to get him on the podcast, Sam. All right, best dressed coach in the conference.
Obvious. We've already answered that.
We already talked about that one.
Well, no. Coach Spiker didn't say anything. He got really quiet when he was.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of schools. I mean, I think the game's changed a little bit since we've all gone with pullovers. I'd nominate myself from a shoe game standpoint, but everything is a pair of slacks and a quarter zip. So who's to say who's the best dressed right now? You know, I don't know.
Well, I'll make it easy. Who's the most animated coach on the sideline in the conference?
Oof.
King Rice and I have had some good games. I think he would get a couple votes.
Yeah, King Rice would be up there, I think, a little bit. Wow.
This is Skerry deflecting from voting for himself.
I'm gonna go with Coach Rice. I'm gonna go with Coach Rice.
Okay, Coach Rice. That was simple. All right, Coach Spiker. If Coach Skerry was a candle scent, what candle scent would he be?
I'm stunned right now. Like I don't have a working knowledge of candle sets. The only candle I know is like a Yankee candle, right? But I don't know if that applies. That's a type. Like I have to pass because I'm really just super dumb in the candle set knowledge business.
Yeah. We'll ask you next time. What about
is there a more Canadian question to ask, by the way? I'm just gonna throw it out there, right?
Okay. If Coach Skerry was an animal, what animal would he be?
Oh, I like that.
I think he'd be a bear.
Yeah. All right, Coach Skerry. What about Coach Spiker? Candle scent and spirit animal.
Yeah, I think he's a nice Yankee candle. Maybe like a calm or nice lavender. I think some of that he's very,
I hate lavender.
Very he's very cerebral. He's like a surgeon. We like to call him in our scouting prep Surgeon Spiker. You know, he's very, very surgical, a lot of side outs, a lot of specials, has the courage to change defense, all while maintaining tremendous poise under adverse situations.
Sometimes I have the courage to play without a 5-man a couple times ago, right, Coach?
Soothing, very good.
He's talking in jest. We had a moment a couple years ago. That's what he's saying. I was not calm at all.
Kind of figured as such. All right. Which team in your conference fouled the most?
Trivia.
Towson.
Yeah,
Towson.
For me, it's whoever's playing against us is certainly fouling.
Team that fouled the most in your conference with 17-point personal fouls per game is UNC Wilmington.
Wow.
You know who fouled the least in your conference with 14.6?
Northeastern.
Nope.
William and Mary.
Hofstra.
Wow.
Wow.
Where are you getting these numbers? What website? You going Ken Palm?
Oprah Winfrey. Fox Sports College Basketball.
I may contest those. I'm gonna check.
I don't know if those referees are aware of that down at Trask, Zach.
Yeah, it does not feel that way.
Sam, you want to finish them off?
Yeah, coaches, we appreciate you having on the show for the preview for the CAA. We're going to kind of turn it over to you guys. Anything you guys are expecting big from the conference? Surprises? You guys already kind of put a couple feelers out there, but any closing words about what to expect from the conference this year?
I'd say this is a really good league. Maybe not as many people know about us for a variety of reasons, but it's a big league. There's 14 teams. There's 14 really good coaches. We've hit on the style of play, but I think anyone that's got a CAA team on their schedule probably could find themselves on the losing end in the non-conference. We've proven that we can play with anybody and beat anybody. And I anticipate this year, even though we have a couple new coaches, a couple new teams, there'll still be no exception. Don't be surprised to see some big non-conference wins with the CAA upsetting some high major teams this fall.
Nice.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm I like to say this all the time. We're rooting for everyone in the non-conference. It only elevates the league. And then you get to conference and, for a couple hours, I'm going to try to tear Zach's head off his neck. And, but once it's over, like I said, you really want to see these guys do well in the non-league. We'll have good teams. There'll be a half dozen teams that, if they were fortunate enough to get that opportunity to play in the NIT or the NCAA tournament, they could win a couple games. The way the game's set up, that doesn't happen. But there are going to be a half dozen teams in our league that are good enough to do this. So I hope we get more eyes on the league. We've got tremendous leadership in the conference and great coaches. I just wish guys dressed a little better, and they're a little boring. Zach used to be boring. He's gotten a little bit better as he's gotten in the league, and I'm happy for Zach, because before I thought he was boring, but he's not boring anymore.
Hey, Coach,
my shoe game is fire. Okay.
Yeah, he's also wearing a wind shirt in a golf cart right now. That's not an office. He's in a covered golf cart.
His look is drippy.
I love it, Coach Skerry. I no one knew you were a TikTok, kind of lingo
aficionado.
I'm a sleuth.
You speak the lingo, that's for sure. We love it.
Yeah, we love it. And I'm really excited for your guys' non-conference schedule as some other of these conferences, because Sam and I covered a lot of them. There was one where I did like a mid-major minutes, and it was honestly 12 minutes because there was that many upsets. And I think it's even more parity because of NIL and the transfer portal. You're going to see it, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be great. Would you ever have thought Chicago State would have beaten Northwestern at Northwestern?
Yeah, we're in a NTE with them this year. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just never know. But coaches, we really appreciate. We're going to be following. You guys are going to stick on one more minute because I just want to upload it. That was a great conference preview, and I'm sorry if you're not excited about the CAA conference in Drexel and Towson or Timson or the Tigers. We'll just call it the Tigers. Then you don't know basketball. So this is one more down. We got some more to go, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and follow and listen to the college. What is it? We get a Full Court Press podcast, a college basketball experience.
Get it.